Have you ever shared a deeply personal story only to wish you'd kept it to yourself? Sometimes, silence isn't about secrecy, it's about preserving your peace and dignity. As we navigate life, we realize that some things are better left unsaid, not to hide who we are, but to nurture our well-being and strengthen our relationships. There's a quiet power in discretion, in knowing what to share and what to keep close to the heart. This isn't about building walls or fostering distance. It's about choosing which parts of our lives should serve as private reflections, shaping our personal growth and peace of mind. Silence, when applied thoughtfully, allows us to preserve not only our dignity, but also the harmony in our relationships. In this guide, we'll delve into 5 key areas of life where choosing silence can have a profound impact. These aren't about withholding love or hiding truths, but about understanding that not everything needs to be said. Knowing when to stay quiet can save us from unnecessary misunderstandings, foster deeper bonds, and help us live with a greater sense of contentment. Let's explore how the power of silence can transform your mental health, strengthen your family bonds, and bring a new sense of balance to your life. One of the most common areas where we might feel compelled to share is our past mistakes. Whether it's out of a desire to teach a lesson or simply to unburden ourselves, sharing these stories can sometimes have unintended consequences. While our experiences shape who we are, there are times when sharing them in full detail can shift how others see us, often in ways we didn't anticipate. Take Mr. Lawrence, for example. A retired craftsman in his late 60s, he prided himself on the life lessons he'd accumulated over the years. He wanted to pass on these lessons to his granddaughter, hoping to offer her guidance and wisdom. One day, he decided to share a painful story from his past, a business partnership that went awry, leading to a significant financial loss. At the time, he thought the story would help her understand the importance of trust and caution in life. To his surprise, however, his granddaughter's response wasn't what he expected. Instead of being inspired by his resilience, she looked at him with concern and even a hint of pity. Her reaction made Mr. Lawrence feel vulnerable in a way he hadn't anticipated. He realized that sharing this particular mistake, while well-intentioned, had changed how she viewed him. This experience taught Mr. Lawrence an important lesson. Not every story needs to be shared in detail. Sometimes, a simple acknowledgement of the lesson learned is enough. Saying something like, "I've learned the importance of trust through hard experiences," conveys the wisdom without opening up past wounds. By keeping certain stories to ourselves, we allow our loved ones to see us as the people we are today, resilient, wise, and strong. Our past mistakes are part of who we are, but they don't need to define us in the eyes of others. Holding on to these experiences as personal reflections can preserve the way we're perceived by those we care about. Silence in this context isn't about secrecy or shame. It's about discretion and understanding that our loved ones don't always need to know every detail of our struggles to benefit from our wisdom. When we choose to let some stories remain untold, we protect both our dignity and our relationships. This sense of discretion can also extend to how we approach discussions about health. As we grow older, it's natural to become more aware of our physical well-being. From small aches and pains to changes in sleep patterns, our bodies often remind us of the passing years. It's equally natural to want to share these experiences with our family. After all, they care deeply about us, and talking about our health can feel like a way to stay connected. However, constantly discussing minor health concerns can sometimes create unnecessary worry or even alter how our loved ones see us. Consider Mrs. Eleanor, a retired teacher, who often mentioned her minor health complaints in conversations with her daughter. One day, she casually brought up her sore knees during a phone call. Her daughter, concerned, began researching remedies, suggesting treatments, and even questioning whether Eleanor should continue her daily walks. While Eleanor appreciated her daughter's care, she soon found the attention overwhelming. It made her feel as though she was being seen primarily through the lens of her health issues. This shift in perception left Eleanor feeling diminished and overly scrutinized. Choosing to keep minor health concerns to ourselves doesn't mean ignoring them. It's about recognizing which details truly need to be shared and which ones can be managed quietly. This allows us to maintain a sense of independence while also fostering a more positive dynamic with our loved ones. When larger health concerns arise, sharing them becomes all the more meaningful. Our family will recognize the significance of these conversations because they're not overshadowed by constant updates about minor issues. By choosing discretion, we create a balance that allows us to share what matters most while maintaining our dignity and strength. Another area where silence can be a powerful tool is in how we approach unfulfilled dreams or wishes. Throughout our lives, we all carry dreams that, for various reasons, went unrealized. Perhaps it was a career we didn't pursue, a place we never visited, or a skill we never mastered. These dreams remain a part of who we are, but sharing them too openly can sometimes have unintended effects. Take Mr. James, for instance. As a young man, he dreamed of becoming a musician. He saved up to buy a guitar and spent countless hours teaching himself to play. But as life unfolded, he chose a different path, one that included raising a family and building a career as a mechanic. Now in his 70s, James often reflected on his love for music. One day, he decided to share this unfulfilled dream with his grandson, hoping to inspire him to follow his own passions. However, the conversation didn't go as James had hoped. Instead of feeling inspired, his grandson seemed unsure how to respond, and James sensed a mix of guilt and pity in his reaction. This experience led James to realize that some dreams are best kept private. Instead of focusing on what he hadn't achieved, he began celebrating what he had accomplished: a loving family, lifelong friendships, and a fulfilling career. He also picked up his guitar again, quietly enjoying the music for himself without making it a central topic of conversation. Keeping certain dreams close to our hearts allows us to cherish them without creating unintended emotional burdens for our loved ones. It protects our family from feeling responsible for our unfulfilled wishes and helps us focus on the life we've built rather than the paths we didn't take. By embracing this approach, we can inspire our loved ones not with regrets, but with stories of resilience, gratitude, and the wisdom we've gained along the way. Another significant area where silence can strengthen relationships and foster peace is when it comes to expressing disappointment or dissatisfaction with family members. As parents, grandparents, or older relatives, we naturally develop hopes and expectations for our loved ones. We want to see them succeed, make wise choices, and live fulfilling lives. However, when their decisions don't align with our expectations, openly expressing our disappointment can sometimes do more harm than good. Take Mrs. Amelia, a retired librarian with a deep love for books and knowledge. She had always envisioned her daughter following a similarly stable and intellectually rewarding career path. But her daughter chose a different road, pursuing a passion for entrepreneurship. She opened a small, independent business, which brought her immense joy, but came with financial risks. One afternoon, Amelia expressed her concerns, suggesting gently that her daughter might consider a more traditional career for long-term security. Though well-intentioned, her words had an unintended effect. Her daughter felt unsupported, as though her mother doubted her abilities and dreams. This created a subtle rift in their relationship, making her daughter hesitant to share her journey's ups and downs. Recognizing the impact of her words, Amelia made a conscious choice to change her approach. Instead of expressing her doubts, she began offering quiet support. She celebrated her daughter's milestones and provided encouragement during challenging times. Over time, their relationship grew stronger, and her daughter felt more comfortable sharing her experiences. This shift in dynamic underscores the importance of choosing silence over criticism when it comes to family. While it's natural to have opinions about our loved ones' decisions, voicing those opinions can sometimes lead to unintended consequences. Expressing disappointment can leave family members feeling as though they've let us down, straining the relationship. By choosing to withhold judgment and focus on support, we create a nurturing environment where our loved ones feel valued and respected. They're more likely to turn to us for guidance and share their lives openly, knowing they won't be met with criticism. This doesn't mean we have to agree with every choice our family members make. Instead, it means recognizing that their lives are their own to navigate. Our role is to be a source of love and encouragement, trusting them to learn from their own experiences. When disappointment arises, it's helpful to pause and reflect inwardly. Ask yourself, is this about me or about them? Often, our reactions stem from our own expectations or fears rather than their actual needs or challenges. By acknowledging this, we can reframe our perspective and approach the situation with greater understanding. Family dynamics are often delicate, and even well-meaning words can have unintended consequences. Choosing silence in moments of disappointment can preserve the trust and respect that form the foundation of strong relationships. It allows us to maintain a sense of harmony and focus on what truly matters, our unconditional love and support. This principle of silence can also extend to discussions about personal plans for assets and inheritance. These are topics that, while important, can be fraught with emotion and potential conflict if not handled thoughtfully. Mr. Robert, a retired banker, had spent decades building a modest estate he hoped would bring comfort and security to his family after his passing. Feeling proud of his preparations, he decided to share his plans with his two sons during a family gathering. At first, the conversation seemed positive, with both sons expressing gratitude for their father's efforts. But soon, subtle tensions began to emerge. The sons started offering suggestions about how the assets could be managed differently, and the conversation took on a transactional tone that Robert hadn't anticipated. This experience left Robert feeling unsettled. What had started as an attempt to reassure his family had turned into a source of stress and division. Reflecting on the situation, he decided to take a different approach. He finalized his plans privately with the help of a trusted advisor, ensuring that everything was clearly documented and in line with his values. By keeping these matters private, Robert was able to refocus his energy on spending quality time with his family. He no longer felt the pressure of navigating discussions about money or addressing differing opinions. Instead, he strengthened his relationships by prioritizing connection over resources. There's wisdom in choosing silence when it comes to asset planning. While it's natural to want to provide clarity and reassurance, sharing too much too soon can sometimes lead to misunderstandings or even conflicts among family members. Waiting to reveal these plans until the appropriate time allows us to maintain control over our decisions and avoid unnecessary tension. It also helps preserve the focus on relationships, ensuring that family time is centered on love and connection rather than material concerns. By approaching these discussions thoughtfully and with discretion, we can protect both our peace of mind and the harmony within our family. As we reflect on these 5 areas, past mistakes, minor health concerns, unfulfilled dreams, disappointments with family, and personal plans for assets, we begin to see the profound impact that silence can have. Choosing what to share and what to keep private isn't about hiding. It's about fostering peace, preserving dignity, and strengthening the bonds that matter most. When we embrace the power of silence, we create a space for deeper understanding and mutual respect. Our loved ones see us as resilient, wise, and supportive individuals who lead by example. In turn, we build a legacy of love, strength, and gratitude that endures long after words fade. This legacy of silence isn't about withholding affection or isolating ourselves. It's about mastering the art of presence. Silence allows us to truly listen to ourselves and to our loved ones. It gives us the clarity to assess whether speaking out will add value or inadvertently cause harm. When we choose to keep certain things private, we create opportunities for our actions to speak louder than our words. We demonstrate resilience not through elaborate stories of struggle, but through the quiet strength that radiates from having overcome them. This strength is what our loved ones will feel and remember, even if they don't know every detail of what shaped it. Consider how silence can deepen family bonds. When we focus on positive interactions and meaningful moments, we shift the narrative of our relationships from one of obligation or expectation to one of shared joy and mutual respect. Our loved ones feel seen and appreciated for who they are, not for how closely they align with our desires or plans. This shift also creates an environment where vulnerability can flourish naturally. By holding back from critiquing or sharing unsolicited advice, we encourage our loved ones to open up about their own struggles and dreams. They feel safe in the knowledge that they will be met with understanding rather than judgment. The act of choosing silence also fosters mindfulness. It teaches us to weigh our words carefully, considering the potential impact they might have. This mindful approach to communication doesn't just benefit our relationships, it also enhances our inner peace. We feel more grounded, knowing we've spoken with intention rather than impulse. Let's revisit the idea of unfulfilled dreams. But this time, consider how reframing those dreams privately can inspire personal growth. Instead of viewing these unrealized goals as missed opportunities, we can see them as reflections of who we are and what we value. For example, Someone who always dreamed of traveling to far-off lands but never had the chance might find joy in exploring their own city or neighborhood with fresh eyes. They can share their sense of curiosity and wonder with their family, showing that it's not the destination that matters, but the spirit of exploration. Similarly, a person who longed to pursue a certain career but chose a different path might find fulfillment in mentoring others who share that passion. By channeling our dreams into actions that align with our current reality, we create a new sense of purpose and satisfaction. This reframing doesn't require us to announce our efforts or justify our choices to others. It's a deeply personal process that enriches our lives quietly and authentically. When our family observes our renewed sense of purpose, they feel inspired, not by what we say, but by how we live. Silence can also help us navigate conflicts within the family. When disagreements arise, the impulse to explain, defend, or persuade can sometimes escalate tensions rather than resolve them. Choosing to pause, listen, and reflect before responding can diffuse these situations and lead to more constructive outcomes. For instance, if a loved one criticizes a decision we've made, our immediate reaction might be to justify our actions or counter their critique. However, a thoughtful silence in that moment can signal that we're truly considering their perspective. This doesn't mean we have to agree, but it shows respect for their feelings and opens the door to a calmer, more productive dialogue. In moments of conflict, silence can be a gift, not just to others, but to ourselves. It allows us to process our emotions and respond with clarity, rather than reacting out of frustration or defensiveness. Over time, this approach fosters an atmosphere of trust and respect within the family. When it comes to personal plans for assets, silence can also create a sense of balance and fairness. By avoiding premature discussions, we minimize the risk of misunderstandings or favoritism. Instead, we can focus on creating memories and strengthening relationships, knowing that our plans are secure and thoughtful. Imagine a family gathering where the conversation centers on shared experiences, stories of laughter, milestones, and cherished moments, rather than debates over inheritances or future arrangements. This shift in focus allows us to leave behind a legacy of love and connection, rather than one defined by material concerns. As we reflect on the role of silence in our lives, it's important to acknowledge that this practice requires intention and effort. It's not always easy to hold back when we feel compelled to share or intervene. But with time and mindfulness, we can cultivate a sense of balance that benefits both ourselves and our loved ones. Silence is not the absence of communication. It's a deliberate choice to prioritize peace and understanding. It's a reminder that not everything needs to be said for our presence to be felt and our impact to be profound. By embracing the power of gentle silence, we become more attuned to the needs of our family and more in tune with our own inner wisdom. We create an environment where relationships flourish, built on a foundation of mutual respect, trust, and love.